choose after my throne.
This review has been a long time coming. Armello is a game I picked up early in its release and it's one I thoroughly enjoyed. Spoilers for the rest of the review. But it's also one I've had difficulty explaining. To do the game justice, a game that's probably the most engaging, mentally taxing and strategic I've ever played, I'll be cracking out the thesaurus and fancy words for this video. Armello, a curious electronic distraction crafted by the wonderful independent development team League of Geeks, and such a felicitous title too for a mostly esoteric studio, engineering a game that distinguishes itself as a mix of tactical card-based mechanics, elegant tabletop design, and indiscriminate dice rolling conceived within the confines of a traditional turn-based strategy experience. Furthermore, all stated concepts are presented in a wondrously stylised world, embroiled in a rich, inviting lore. The lordly Lion King of Armello has contracted a nefarious dark magic affliction known only as the Rot, an infection which seeks to claim his life and the throne. 4 separate clans of the realm, well more if DLC content is included, of Armello seek to overthrow the king and occupy the rule of the powerful kingdom. What gives purpose to each incisive path is how the player goes about conquering the game. Will you prove your valour through acts of chivalry in an attempt to become the king's sole heir via a prestige victory? Or perhaps you wish to travel the path of corruption, using the Rot to steal the throne by force? Then again, tales tell of enigmatic spirit stones, a fabled cure to rid the king of his ailment, securing one place as the ruler of the land. Armello contains various elements to hinder players in their quest towards total monocratic power. Players are given turns to move about the board across various terrains with different bonuses. Each turn they pick cards to their hand of spells, items and trickery, which are able to be played upon the player's character or to other characters, or even tiles on the board to ambuscade others. In turn, cards can be used in combat passively or actively, while certain cards may be sacrificed to guarantee particular dice rolls during one of the turn-based combat sequences. It is here where dice come into the fray. Each side corresponds to a particular action of combat. Cross swords inflict 1 damage, block negates 1 damage dealt by your opponent. Suns and moons represent hits of damage during day and night cycles respectively. Rot die miss unless the character rolling is corrupted, which then counts as a hit and re-rolls. And finally, the spirit die will count as a hit and re-roll unless corrupted, opposite to a Rot roll. Different heroes possess unique abilities, such as stealth on certain tiles or bonuses after card uses. Coupled with picking certain magical rings and amulets for extra bonuses before the game commences, as well as dice roll bonuses for clans with certain day-night affinities, Armello conveys a level of strategy seen in few other indie titles. Each individual hero character has certain stats pertaining to playstyles. Fight and body stats represent your number of dice rolls in combat and overall life points. Wits determine the number of cards held in the hand and dice rolls against trickery perils. The spirit stat determines your magic pool and resets magic points at dusk, while determining dice rolls in spirit perils. Gold is the currency employed in equipping your character and bartering followers, gained through dungeon tile exploration and control of settlement tiles. Magic is the resource required to cast spells set as your spirit level but boosted through dungeon exploration and cards. Prestige is a counter of your political status with the citizens of Armello, garnered by slaying other heroes and rotten creatures known as Banes, as well as completing quests. And the final stat, Rot, is the level of corruption your hero is suffering. Heroes who choose to cast unholy spells or fall to Banes in combat are cursed with Rot, which progresses through the game. Powerful magic can be accessed with Rot and it allows high dice rolls against less corrupted heroes in combat, yet it slowly drains your life. Now I must confess to you that even though my paltry attempt at elevated vernacular might mislead some of you to believe that I can display a modicum level of intellect, the crucial notion of whether Armello is truly balanced or not still eludes me. I will say victory conditions seem rather slapdash in their levels of execution. A combat victory, for example, precludes entering the palace, which requires a high level dice roll to countermand the high level peril that surrounds the king. Of course, failing that, you are expelled from the grounds and forfeit your turn, having to do it all over again. If you manage to overcome the peril, the fight with the king is arduous considering his high stat levels that make him a very punishing foe. Furthermore, if you perish during the battle, even though you have managed to slay the king, the victory will automatically be awarded to the player with the highest prestige, which seems to reward a more passive defensive playstyle. Needless to say, I've seen plenty more prestige victories than any other in my time with Armello, and take from that what you will. Whether it's the level of play I'm a part of at the moment remains to be seen. Armello's presentation is almost universally agreed as its strongest selling point, and it's something tough to argue against. The wonderful 3D tabletop mainstay is supported by wondrous animated cards and 2D cartoonish battle sequences. There's something mystical about this art style, as if it were concept art for the newest hit Disney movie. For as daunting as Armello can be for beginners, even including the prologue and tutorials, and as involved as its player concepts can be, I can't help but adore it. Those of you unfamiliar or perhaps cold to strategy games might question its worth, but Armello does its utmost to appease players with its unique graphical approach, multiplayer drawn escapades, and community-led resource library. For my final intellectual musings on a review a long time coming, I can say only this: Armello is bloody great. You will like this game if you like the Civilization series, Disney stories, and tabletop games.